very important. She lives. She has retired, and she ought to leave. Our problems can even be found around. Our fountain is there. Today, we smokers are invading the premises. When you enter this theater, our chairs are rotting, being eaten by insects. Nothing is being done. All our pipes are clogged. There are leakages in offices that we work in. There's no way forward, no leadership to make things happen. This is what we're asking for. If they can do, then new people should come in and help solve the situation.
Their concerns are, however, not limited to the dismissal of the executive director, Amy Frimpong Appiah. Staff of the National Theatre are also demanding rehabilitation works on the edifice as well as promotions for workers.
Well, our demands is one, welfare of the staff. Apart from the welfare of the staff, we believe that they should take in full totality the condition of the National Theatre. It is when this edifice is put in its proper space, then we hope we will come out of the public syndrome that people are not all chastising us or calling us bad names. But they should be able to make sure that the state of the National Theatre as a monument comes back to what it used to be before. And then we are talking about the promotion.
Well, the police just arrived at the scene. They say they were not informed about the intended protest. But members here say that they are not protesting, they are only allowing their grievances to be heard by their board chair. Currently, the board chair has called for a meeting with staff of the company as well as their leaders, but on one condition, that they leave their phones outside. Of course, they are deliberating whether or not to do this, but it seems that they would be joining the board chair in that meeting.
After an hour-long meeting, staff of the National Theatre explained that their petition was well received.
In a nutshell, they've accepted everything that we put on paper, and they are ready to sit down, go through, and then arrange for, let's say, an open debate with all staff to look through it and see the possibilities of meeting at a tangent. And we believe that with what happened there, they are also ready to push and make things happen.
Although leadership of the theatre refused to speak on record, sources say the executive director is on contract and cannot be dismissed in accordance with the demands of the workers. For now, workers are yet to know whether their demands will be met. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
So there you have it, workers of the National Theatre protesting, and they've laid out their grievances and they hope that they'll be addressed soon. But let's talk to someone who regularly uses the National Theatre. Playwright, actor extraordinaire, Fifi Coleman has just joined us on Zoom. Good morning, Fifi.
Good morning,
You're welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And congratulations on Still a Rose, which you very recently staged at the National Theatre.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Now, the workers of the National Theatre laid out 3 points, one of which was the state of the National Theatre. Now, you have used the National Theatre very recently, and you've also used it regularly in the past. What are your first comments, initial comments on the state of the theatre?
I think I'm on record with saying that bluntly, it is not the National Theatre. That theatre can't qualify to be a national theatre. We as a country, as Ghana, cannot have the state in which it is right now and describe that edifice as a National Theatre of Ghana. It is an eyesore, and I think this whole thing about it is long overdue. Many a time the cry for the changes that we have been looking for at the theatre was being done by us, the clients, we who patronize, who we use them. We are the ones always screaming and telling. I'm on record, talking about the mosquitoes, the chairs, the infrastructure, the little guy just achieving a talk back, light, sound. I've complained several times on record for saying that, but there's always been me talking about these things, and it's just very interesting that now the people who are actually in the building are speaking for themselves as to what they need to have happen there, and that's what it is now.
Fifi, I'd like us to look at the issues more specifically. Let's break it down. For people who are not producers, they might not understand what you mean by the talk back and all of these things. For you as a producer, you've come to pay money to rent the National Theatre. First of all, how much do you pay to rent the National Theatre?
I think currently for 4 hours is 12,500.
12,500
for 4 hours.
For 4 hours. All right. So after paying this money and the theatre is rented to, the space is rented to you, what are the problems, more specifically, what problems do you encounter as an event producer, specifically a theater productions producer at a theater?
Exactly. So the caveat, even before I get into that, that theater would let you sign a contract that would tell you that you are taking the theater as is. That's a caveat. That whether so even if you had an issue with it, they are telling you that this is how our theater is. If you want to use it, this is how it is. But ideally, after paying 12,500, which they will tell you is the rebate price, because after COVID they brought it down, and also they are considering us in the space, to be able to afford to use the theater. You look, the basic things that you would need in a theater, like it's the stage is there for you. There's lights that you would need to illuminate the stage, your set, and the action that is going on there. There's sound that needs to be provided for everyone to hear very well, very pleasant, to the audience that are there, so that we avoid putting speakers, monitors on the stage. So audiences are looking at big trusses on the side. Some people use tracks actually to monitor just to do a play as part of your set, which is not supposed to be the issue. We have that as well. Bring it to even the common seating area where people walk into come and sit. The carpets on the floor, the filth. You would think there are no people to sweep the National Theatre, because the cleaning is almost done right before the production or some sort. But when you walk in there, you're even prepping for that thing. The filth in the theatre, it's like, wait, is this the National Theatre of Ghana? If I am a client and I'm trying to use a premise, I'm selling an experience. That experience starts from when I walk into the theatre. So the minute you drive into the theatre, what are your expectations? I keep on telling people, if the first person I see when I go to theater is a Titinga seller, it is not the National Theatre. If it is a person who is running around trying to sell me water before I go in, or trying to give me, all sort of things before I enter, that what experience is that? The lobby of the National Theatre is so, let's say, left to rust. Literally, on the right side where used to be the concession stand, when theater, like the 20 years ago, the 25 years ago that we keep talking about, was where you go to buy your drinks and your popcorn and everything. That's where you stay to eat and drink your work, and then go into the building to go and enjoy the show. That place right now is a place where they store chairs, empty bottles of drinks that they have used, in the past, and all of those things. That's the holding area for those things, and that has brought people who sell to rather now come in front of the concession stand right in the lobby to do all of these things. Unacceptable. A box office, a clear thing. I was keep on saying, like, every theater has a box office. Where is our box office when you go into the National Theatre of Ghana? There's nothing. As a client, I expect to have like a set-up box office place, not to sit me in front of the glass doors and then have a table in front of me collecting money and tickets while people are standing outside. Imagine it's raining. Am I going to keep the line outside in the rain? For them, it's very confusing when you do this. And then maybe there are more. Let's talk about air conditioning. Air conditioning in National Theatre. At least provide me some cool breeze to sit in the. There are no windows in the National Auditorium. I don't know whether expect this. There's no windows at all. So if the air conditioning system is broken in that building, people are literally finding themselves more than actually keeping their eye on the screen to enjoy whatever it is that is going on. This is but a few things that, as a client, now that I would expect, to have functioning in that space. You give me personnel to work with, which I'm very grateful for. There are people backstage, stage managers to work for, but they don't have what they need to use to work for me with. There's no soundboard. The radio, the walkie-talkies where one person will tell somebody to drop a curtain, or to raise the curtain, hurry up, this is not working well. Turn off house lights. They don't have that. So it has to be a mobile phone. So like in a mobile phone, they call one another to say, what if you don't have credit? What if, like, for some reason the network is jammed? So I'm waiting and I'm going to wait. The curtain up. It's not going up because someone is not receiving that communication that needs to happen for all of these things to occur. It's frustrating. So as a client, trust me, I have had it with them. I have had so many conversations at the bilateral with theater itself as to my expectations and what is currently being provided. But like I said, the contract you sign, when you take it on, will say you are taking the theater as is.
So you basically use it without complaining because you have signed a contract. And so you mentioned a point about the air conditions. In previous reports, one of the people who has used the theater said that they had to pay an extra amount of money to another person,
Yes.
a private contractor, for the air conditions. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. It is correct, but I understand that this person is in. I don't know if it's a connection. There's a contract with the National Theatre has a contract with the person to put those things there, of which the theatre gets some of the money back for him having those systems in there. And also, as you need to understand, theatre is the regulators of how much that person is actually charging to have those air conditioning systems there. As well as the backup generator system that is there. Theatre had a very, you could have a generator for backup for a theatre, every theatre. Now, the current one that was built, they came with the building, undergone servicing and all of those things, is broken of some sort. And so now also we do have a private enterprise, if I want to show there, who has a backup generator there that you'd have to pay. Should the lights go off in the middle of your show, then you have to pay so he can turn on his generator for you to use at the theater in case lights go off in the middle of your production. And yes.
Wow. So to a large extent, you agree with the staff who are protesting on some of the points that they have made. Now, let's talk about the way.
I more than agree with them.
Let's talk about the way forward. You are signing a contract saying that you would accept the National Theatre as it is. And so you can't complain, but pay for the other things you need from the point of view of a producer. I wanted to ask you about the point of view, from an audience member point of view, because when you're sitting in an auditorium, the experience is quite different from when you are the one on the ground producing shows. Do you think that audience members also have similar challenges like you do, or is it different for them? For them, once they pay to come and enjoy a show, they sit down, the show is good, they enjoy it, and they go?
I think they do. Now, if you're seated in the auditorium right now, and the next seat to you is a metal chair instead of the normal chairs that is there, your seat is like one of the ones they use in the church, in between the seats for you, and you can't go back. Some have got seats without any backrest. And days that we are packed, people sit on that without a backrest. So they are really feeling what we are doing. This whole thing about putting the speakers, you're taking experience out of the audience. It's like, okay, why are these things also here, with me? It's hot. I'm sitting down. I'm sweating. I'm fanning myself and all of those things. The person next to me, I don't know where they're coming from. But you're not giving me the comfort that I need to be in that space to enjoy at that very moment. As an audience, yes, I know very well the carpet. Look, be you unlucky that
what's wrong with the carpet?
Not filthy, dusty. I don't know what color it is. I think when I see we're working between red and brown at this point, where they're supposed to be, and I don't know what it is. The experience of it. It's the idea of I'm in a theater, and that is supposed to, because people have experienced other theaters. That's my issue. My issue is that people have experienced other theaters, and they come and there's a lot of comparison, but then we give the excuse, this is Ghana, this is how our theater is. And it's theater systems, and it should cut across. It's like a world ethic thing that everybody should follow. And ours don't meet it. At this point,
Fifi,
our theater doesn't
when was the last time you experienced the National Theatre in a good state? When was the last time, if you can remember?
Ooh. Ghana at 50?
I remember watching you on stage during Ghana at 50. You played Atu in Dilemma of a Ghost during the Ghana at 50 celebrations. Yeah. That was the last time. That was right after the renovations were done.
Exactly, yes. That renovations that we need to get into now. We need to get into that. I mean, as we are picking up this subject, we need to get into that renovation. What was the MOU with the Chinese government when they built it? How many times were they supposed to come and do the renovation? Was there a clause in there that said that they're supposed to come back? What was the year that they gave? Because now they keep saying, the people who built it are the ones who are making it fall apart because they used materials that are no longer relevant and all of those things. And if I know the Chinese very well, they're very particular about their image and name when it comes to things that they put their names on. So are we very sure that we've reached out to them and say your products are really, and nothing happened? There's no.
Are you saying that the Ghana government or the managers of the National Theatre do not have the power contractually to renovate the theatre?
They do. Now, here's the catch. First of all, these are things that, as we are talking, we can do. I want everyone to cite, or people that are connected to cite the MOU between the Ghana government and the China when it comes to national theatre. Let's just cite it first.
And then we can have that conversation.
I'm pretty sure there should be a clause in there that talks about renovating the National Theatre.
Okay.
And how long it will take them for them to do that. Yes.
From where you sit, what's the way forward? What are the things that we can practically do now to make the theatre a better place for producers, for people who attend events, and for the general public?
I think once I suggested a total shutdown, and I thought about it, some people really live off theatre. I suggested that before. And then we realized that, well, people live off the National Theatre. And if you totally shut down, people are losing their jobs, who are not there, and it will take over a period of time. First, let's start with an audit now. I need an audit to be done at the theatre. Somebody do that proper due diligence and come and tell us it will cost A to fix here, B to fix there, C to fix there. Let's have numbers to it and start off with, where do we use the most when it comes to National Theatre? The front-facing part, the entrance, the main auditorium. Let's start from there. Because if we say we're going to do everything in totality at the same time, then you will say, oh, which is too much money, we can't do that, we can't do that. Three things: fix AC, fix your seating, the carpet in the front area, sound, light. There used to be something that was attractive about the theatre for everyone, the fountain in the front of the theatre. That fountain was like a light. People came for excursion just to look at the fountain in front of the National Theatre. Bring back the things that made it attractive for people to come into the space, outside, what we see from outside, and then pick areas in the building and start attacking the base of an audit and how much money it would take to fix them.
Let me ask you some specific questions about fixing the theatre. If, for example, a carpet company said they wanted to change all the carpeting at the National Theatre, is this something that a private company can do? Is the theatre open? Do you know, if you know what that is the theatre open to accepting such proposals?
Okay, so I had personally, I had gone to theatre before, not to the management of theatre, to go talk about the fact that I need, give me, I think I was trying to fix sound and lights. Privately, I'll do it myself. And then I'll get into a contract with you. And by so doing, every time everybody uses the theatre, a surcharge is on it. And that surcharge comes to me as you paying me back for what I put in there for a number of years. Now, this is not from management, so I'm very, very clear about it. I was told that it is not possible because it's a state enterprise and that you cannot bring in a private somebody to come and do this and then charge on those terms. I said this on radio somewhere, and then I got a call in, and I had a meeting, a bilateral meeting with theatre management that told me that no, it is not true, that no one has ever come there to come and say they want to privately do something that has been sent away, which was very shocking.
And has theatre reached out to private people? Has theatre reached out to, for example, Vaniado to fix their bathrooms? And maybe name is the Vaniado bathroom at the National Theatre. If no one has reached out to them, have they reached out to anyone?
From information that I've received, no. And they might have something to say about that, because when I said that, they said that when the government takes up the cost of these things, it is easier on the pockets of the clients. That's what they said. They said when they bring the clients in, then that means they have to charge more. So they wait for the government to take up the cost. If the government does that, then in that way, we save, we pay less when we're able to use the facility. All
right. I wish we had more time to continue this conversation. But Fifi, that's all time will allow us. Thank you so much for providing us some insights from a producer's point of view on the state of the National Theatre. We're very grateful for your time. We'll have more conversations about this as we go, with staff, with management, and also with people who have just experienced the National Theatre from the general public. But let's keep this conversation running on all of our social media platforms. Thank you so much for watching our show today. This has been TV3 New Day. My name is Nashako. I've been on with Bella Mundi. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.